Oh, good morning, Scrapazoids. How are ya? Your old pal Scrappy D back with another video. See that? You haven't seen me in so long. I've stored up all this energy. You're going to just see too much of me and you're going to get so sick of looking at me. I hope not. So, I am going to continue my regular format, which is to take apart assorted IT equipment, computers, switches, whatever. And hopefully by watching me do this, you will see if there is any value in these for you. You've all kind of, those of you who follow me know I've really been struggling with a buyer over pricing and payment and what he thinks he was supposed to get, what I know I sold him. You know, it is what it is. It has been very difficult for me. He feels I cheated him because he didn't get paid well at the end, which is not true. Hi, Moyer. Hi, that's right, recycling. Oh, aren't you a sweetheart? Thank you for all of that. You're so sweet. That's right, recycling. And my good friend Moyer, who's been following me for a long time. So, that's part of why you haven't seen a lot of me, just the stress of the whole thing. I pretty much decided to just quit e-scrapping. As far as a money-making venture, well, in the meantime, I bought that warehouse full of stuff, and my little short blurb from this morning, entitled I Was Supposed to Retire, shows a complete and total pickup today that I had from somebody who I worked with years ago. He had a pickup and he called me, and I'm hoping the rain holds off. I have a truck full. Yeah, that's the truckload I'm talking about. That's right, recycling. There's a really old Compaq in there and a really old HP server. Those are going to make for some really awesome content, but they weigh a freaking ton and a half. The sun just decided to make an appearance. It has been pouring all morning long, and I am glad the sun came out because I don't really want to get wet any more than I already did. I'm actually sitting here with a heater on. I got so wet and cold. But I think those should have some really, really great boards and such in them. Now, I'm going to kind of pre-qualify what I'm doing, why I'm doing, how I'm doing, and the reason that I do things the way I do. Am I always right? No. Do I always make money? No, just most of the time. You know, every once in a while you really just get into a situation. I was listening to Shark Scrapper yesterday, and yeah, I'm hoping that's right, recycling. And if I find a purple CPU in there, that my good friend Mr. Moyer over there doesn't have in his shadow box, you know, we're gonna chit-chat with him about that. So, yeah, I'll be looking forward to that. I'm doing a shadow box too, Mike, just kind of similar to what you're doing, but I've just been so far behind with everything because of this situation with this buyer. So anyway, part of the fallout from all of this is, you know, he feels I cheated him because he didn't get paid well at the yard. I had told him he's new to the business. I basically told him right out, dude, you don't know what you're doing. So, you know, if you're going to buy from me whole units and try to resell them to the yard, you are never going to make money. Because I'm not going to make money, you're not going to make money. I said, you gotta have your guys take them apart for the components, then you will make money. He didn't listen to me. I wasn't there to supervise the unloading of his truck because he drove down from New York. And by the way, I've gotten past being angry. I've just, like, That's Right Recycling said it very well yesterday, growing pains. Well, he's growing, and I got the pain. So it gave me pause to kind of think about what I'm doing. I will sell whole units if I get them free. If I get them free and I've got too much stuff, like the situation I'm under right now, yes, I can sell them by the pallet. But on an individual basis, that is a losing proposition. I told you guys what happened on the first pickup was a disaster. He showed up in a U-Haul truck, no Gaylords, no boxes. An issue with his payment, and they pretty much, I don't want to say stole, but, you know, they pretty much stole my whole load of e-scrap and took off and headed back to New York. So, you know, he called, and again, I don't necessarily think he's a malicious man. I just think he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. That's what I think. But however, you know, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. That's how I feel about the whole thing. I don't need him. I don't need anybody except Zach and Chris. I could put stuff in my truck and sell it to my yard for the same price he's trying to sell his stuff to his yard at. But it was a very shady yard. I didn't like the whole situation from the beginning. I live in Connecticut. I'm not driving 2.5 hours to freaking Brooklyn or wherever the hell his yard is to go deal with it. Number one, I don't want to, frankly. And number two, why should I have to do that when I've taught you? That's Right Recycling says he's lucky you are still willing to work with him. Actually, I'm not so sure that I am. It was part of one of the reasons I took a vacation last week. I had to get away from it and think about it. I'm not 100% sure I want to, which is part of why I'm doing these videos about what's inside and how to make much better money tearing down e-scrap as opposed to selling it whole. Case in point, this PC in front of me right here. I'm going to put an estimated weight of 10 pounds on it. Most of these weigh somewhere between 10 and 11 pounds. Let's just say it weighs 10 pounds, okay? As a matter of fact, let me get my magic little marker here. And just to keep track of what I say, let's just assume it weighs 10 pounds, all right? So if it was 10 pounds, Board Sort pays, they pay 40 cents on servers. So let's just say that they pay 30 cents on PCs with no hard drive, and that's a specific PC, no hard drive. That is a category. PC, no HD. Those of you who know me know darn right well I do not. Yeah, That's Right Recycling. You know what it is? I know them both. I've been working with both. I've been working with Zach since he opened his business, and with Chris for many years. Chris was the first to the table with all of this. He did a great job. Strip the insulation off the copper power supply. Yes, I will take the wire. Absolutely. So let's just say they're at somewhere around 30 cents. So if I sold this PC whole right now, didn't do a thing to it except take out the hard drive because I never sell my hard drives, I would make $3. Woo, big bucks. It's $3 as is, okay? Don't even count the shred right now. It's a joke. Shred is at something like, let's just say it's at 0.08 cents a pound right now because that's somewhere around where it is. And hello, Joe. Nice to have you in. Welcome in. I do see some new change. You can sell it to the gray market for a lot more. And you're not wrong. the user with the frog icon. I have tried to resell a lot of this stuff already. I always try to resell. If it is resellable, I will resell it. Problem is, can't test a lot of this. It may have been in the rain, it may have been moldy, it may be infested with a virus. So unless I absolutely know the person I bought it from and I can visually test the material, I'm not going to take a chance reselling it. You wouldn't like me if I sold you a virus-filled computer, would you? So, you know, that's that kind of thing. And, you know, I don't have the time. I don't have the operating system to bench test all these things. I just don't have the time. For me, the business model is take it, check with the owner. If it works, try to sell it over again. You know, I had a guy yesterday, I bought a Dell R230 tower from him, not tower, a rack server from him. Booted it up. Everything is fine. That I can try to resell. I have his permission. It's been completely wiped. I see that it works, but we have no hard drive. So, yeah, that I'm going to try to resell. Of course I am. All of the equipment that I've just gotten from the IT company, that big IT warehouse I'm clearing out, I know for a fact it's in working condition because I know they tested it and, excuse me, I know they wiped everything. Sure, I can try to resell that and don't think I haven't, but the problem is it's so old that nobody wants it. I mean, these Cisco units that I bought for him, I know they sold for $20,000 10 years ago. You know, now they sold for squid. So, you know, those are all things you have to consider. You have to know your prices. You have to know your resale. You have to know what current buyers are paying and what you can sell it for. Or if you're a gold refiner, how much value are you going to get for gold refining? And that is not something I do. It's not my comfort zone. I'd rather SELL to people who do gold refining. OS for bench test is Linux, and you are correct. You know, but it's what works for me. Everybody's going to find their niche, you know. Me, I like taking stuff apart. I like teaching people about computers. I like showing people different stuff that's in these units in case you want to try to buy and resell. You know, it's just not my bailiwick. Everybody's got their spot. You know, like I said, for me, it's buy the stuff, take it apart, and send the boards out to you-know-where. That's just what I like to do. Yesterday, I did something a little different. I had a bunch of older computers. We had gotten a lot of daughter cards. We got a lot of high-grade gold-bearing material. So I put what I call a pot of gold together, and that's gone already. Somebody wrote to me about that box. So, you know, and that's what I often do. I love Shark Scrapper. That's right, recycling. I learned most of what I know from watching Shark Scrapper and the late great Scrapping Irish. Yeah, Sharky doesn't do the TT. It's not his thing. Anyway, so that's a little background. It's not that I haven't tried. And a lot of the retro stuff, yeah, I've got old apples, rotten apples, down in my basement. I've got this compact PC that I've got. We wrapped it all up. The guy who buys the all-in-ones for me, he's going to help me take that out of the car. I have monitors and printers for him and his son. They recycle that stuff, so they're going to take those in exchange for helping me take the heavy stuff out of the truck. That's a possible resale. It has been sitting, and that's the whole thing. I don't know how long these have been sitting. I don't know if they've been on a pallet. I don't know if they've been outside. I don't know. You know, so there's all those things. All right. Anyway, let me get back to what I'm doing. So this particular PC, where did I get this one from? I got this from a hospital. And as part of this pickup, I had to agree, you know, that I would not resell them. They asked me not to do that. They've already taken the hard drive. They did that themselves. Actually, I'm going to take that back. This, I think, came from that office cleanup in Norwalk. Sorry, they all, you know, these all look similar. The rating on it says iCore 5. So hopefully, with a little luck, we get a good iCore chip in here. You'd have to look at a list of Yeah, I miss Scrappin' Irish. He's gone now. That's right. Recycling. He passed out over. He passed away over Easter weekend, I think it was. Anyway, that's another. I don't want to go there. So often I have to destroy the hard drive or I have to destroy the computer because a lot of the companies want that. Don't forget, there were memory chips in here. Again, I have R2 recyclers. I will bring these things to R2 recyclers. They will destroy the hard drives. They will sign a certificate of destruction. These are all services that I now have in place after 10 years of doing this. Oh, Dave Donahue, good morning. Again, you know, sometimes I'm required to take the computer apart. They want it dismantled. That's why they give it to me and not somebody else. So this one came from an office clean out in Norwalk, and that was his requirement. Honestly, guys, the other problem is, you know, you go look on you know where. These are selling for what, $5, $10, $15 a piece? They're not worth the resale. Not to me. You know, so, you know, there's all these pieces in place, and you know, the haters are always like, you could have made so much money more recycling. I can't, because I don't agree with that. I mean, if I were to sell this computer for $5, $10, $15, $20, and I already got 2 sticks of RAM out of it, which I did, and I'm going to get an iCore chip, which I probably will get, gosh knows what for, probably $20, $30, $40 for. Why would I sell the whole computer? Why would I sell it as scrap for 40 cents a pound to basically a junk dealer? That's unfortunately what this person is. He's a junk dealer. He's not an e-scrap guy. He's a junk dealer. He doesn't know what he's doing. He aggravates the crap out of me. And you know what, guys? I don't need the crap aggravated out of me. I don't even know that he does it on purpose. I don't think he does. I think he's just so far behind with what he's doing. He's got himself into a state, and I'm getting caught in the middle of it, and I don't want to. So I pretty much have walked away from him at this point after spending a month arguing with him about, you know, I'll sell it to you cheap. If you want, you can come take the whole pallet. I'll sell you a pallet full of e-scrap for XYZ, and you can have your guy take it apart. I don't want to do that. I said, well, then he ain't going to make no money. So I finally sent him a cost analysis of what I do and how I break it down and how much more money is to be made taking apart. So he got screwed by his yard royally. Basically what they said is computers without hard drives in them are not complete computers. That's total bullshit. Plain English. And the reason it's total BS is because even our online companies that recycle computers, they have a category for that. They have a category. Hard drives, computers and servers, no hard drives. So it is a legitimate category. And I don't resell my hard drives. Never have, never will. Number one, the boards are worth anywhere between $17 and $22 a pound. Well, it's not number one, but you know, the boards are worth a lot more money. And again, a lot of times I have to destroy them. I'm obligated to because people have asked me to. Wipe them and resell? Well, you know what? That's for somebody else who isn't me. Like I said, everybody has their niche, you know? I am a one-lady operation. I do this all by myself. You know, I don't have a warehouse. I shouldn't have a shop, but I, you know, it's just that's what works for me. So I buy things to recycle them. That's what I do. Or I don't buy them. I, you know, get them for whatever I can. It's a nice aluminum heat sink. You got to get this off, which I probably should do as I go along. Otherwise, I wind up with piles of e-scrap. My suggestion is do this as you go along. My yard says, well, that they will give me extruded if I can get a Gaylord. Thank you, that's right, recycling, because you're ethical. Because my, number one, I've got it set all the way down, and number 2, the other screwdriver burned out, and number 3, I won't be able to do my live if I don't use what I have as a backup. So, yeah, I do have to redo my tool cabinet. I've got to get some electrician screwdrivers. I mean, these have all just gotten stripped out from overuse. So, yeah, I've got to order. I got to check out on Sharky's channel. Sharky has a Sharky and Proud both have some good tools up on their TikTok sites that I should really go back and check. So I've got to get this steel off. If you're going to sell this as extruded, you've got to get every single piece of steel off. The yard will... Hi, Joe. By the way, Joe, thanks for your email yesterday. I'm going to go back and see if I can get at one of those boards. My Dremel bit the dust the other day. It fried. So I can't do the scratch test on those boards. I have them aside. I have not sent them out to a recycler. Those are the boards that we were doing yesterday, guys. Joe wrote to me and said he thought there might be really good gold flashing underneath the... Dave Donahue put one up on his wall. He didn't even go after it for gold recovery. He took it and put it on his wall because he thought it was cool, and I think it's cool too. Zach thinks they're ugly, so... So I said... But, yeah. So, yeah, you know. I'll be curious to find out about that. So, all the servers that I stripped yesterday, the boards are sitting in plastic bins in my storage area until I decide what to do with them. I know I jump around a lot, guys. Sometimes I'll answer a question and it gets me all off track. I don't mean to. So, my yard, I argued on this. I said, why won't you give me clean extruded aluminum on these heat sinks? Well, Dee, they have to be completely clear of any... Yeah, I know all that. Thank you. Just like copper has to be. You know, I get all that. I've been coming in here for 7 years, guys, for crying out loud. You don't think I know that? I said, you know, every channel I watch says this is extruded, and everything I can look at says this is extruded. He said, well, it's not that it isn't. He said, well, we have to buy it, and extruded has to be baled. So we don't usually buy it because we're worried about the load being contaminated and being rejected. So in other words, if somebody runs a magnet over a so-called load of extruded aluminum, the yard's going to get the whole load sent back, and that's just not, you know, that's no good for them. So I understand their caution. I just think it's because they're cheap as you know what. They don't want to pay. But he said to me, if you bring me in enough that I can fill half a Gaylord box and justify a bale, I'll give you extruded, or I'll give you clean cast. He said, we'll make some kind of adjustment. Yeah, okay. You know, it's as good as it's going to get. So the first thing I get out of here is a heat sink, okay? I don't know, 40 cents a pound, something like that. Let's just say 40 cents a pound on the heat sinks. That's about what they're paying on. They put that in with what they call old sheet, and old sheet's 44 cents a pound right now. So, where is my notebook? Like my notebook here? So, we got 0.8 for shred, and I said it's 11 pounds because that's what most of these weigh. So, whoops. 0.8 times 11 cents. Whoa, big money. 11 pounds times is what, 88 cents in shred? Alright. And let's just say we're going to get 0.40 for the heat sink, which is aluminum. I'm up to $1.20. Oh boy! If you really want a detailed analysis on these, oh, you have got to watch Scrap It All. He takes this stuff down to the nines. I really hate math. So, yeah. So we have some RAM. Now, the RAM I'm being extra careful with because that I do send to Zach. If you're wondering who Zach is, DM me later. I got to be careful if I get a restriction for for saying a company name. I have to be careful with that. Hello, Snobby Scrapper. Long time no see. Let me just go back here. I see a comment. Freedom heater and razor knife will soften the masking to check for gold under the masking. Yeah, we think there may be masking under those gold edge boards from the blade servers from yesterday. And again, see if that turns out to be the case. You know, yeah, we're going to do something with that. Part of me says this load from the warehouse is so good and so old that I should just store it and take it all to a toll refiner when gold goes up again. Haven't made that decision yet. Either way, you know, I'm just right now, I've got to keep some stuff moving. I've got to get the money back that I spent on the warehouse, which I should actually do next week. So anyway, so RAM is sitting at about 50 bucks a pound right now. You need 30 sticks like this to make a pound, so, yeah. So let's see, if I did that, if I divided 50 by 30, this is like $1.50 worth of RAM. And again, that's probably, again, this is just a rough cost analysis. I'm not sitting down and weighing all this SHRT. I ain't got that kind of time. So let's figure we got $1.50 in RAM. And, you know, Zach's got a couple of these cost analysis on his website as well. So I'm up to 90, I'm up to almost $2.40 so far. But see, on the computers, you know, your money is the RAM. If you get an older board, you'll get the gold pins off of it. So there's a lot of things you can do to get yourself some value. Sure there is. And me, don't be fresh. I'm a quick strip. That's funny. Thank you. I am well. I don't take, you know what, Patman? I leave that for other people to do. I SELL the components to people who do those kinds of things. I actually have 3 or 4 refiners who will BUI at a good price. They have standing orders. When I get 25 or 30 pounds, I give them a call. And of course, there's always the option of selling them to the gold refiners. It's not my bailiwick. I don't want to do gold refining. There's nothing wrong with it. God in heaven bless those of you guys who do it. Oh, you're amazing human beings. But my nephew has little girls. I don't want the chemicals. I don't want the mess. And I really, right now, with the volume of stuff I have to process, I don't have time. So, yeah, Snobby Scrapper, I'd be delighted to see that in the comments. That would be great. I also have someone who does, I'm just using him as a general example because his prices are up there and obvious and he's up front with everything, so it's a nice, easy reference for people. All right. iCore 534705. I've got to check it again. When you're pulling iCores, guys, don't touch this because the grease and the oil from your fingers will stop the contact. The chip will fail the test. A lot of iCore 5s no longer qualify for premium pricing. The iCore 7s are still doing pretty well. Is that one scrap? Thanks, Snobby. Appreciate that. You know, I don't have the chance to look that one up. iCore 3s, forget it. They're scrap unless they have unless they're like 12th generation. I sent out a load of i7 chips a couple of weeks ago for test and buy. I got a paycheck for $2,500 just for the chips. Scrap that I took out of the computers. So, yeah, you know. So my point is, why would I sell somebody a computer for 40 cents a pound and make a few bucks when I can go through it and make a lot more money? That's why you got to know what's in there. You've got to know your product. You got to know what's in there. You got to know what you're buying so that you know what you're selling, right? So, right off the bat, without a second thought, we're going to get an iCore board. Those of you who scrap computers know that the iCore boards are not the best for the gold refining. Some better than others, just like everything else. You know, the older they are, the better they are. The newer ones, just like the AMD boards, extremely plastic. This one, if I was micro scrapping, there are good gold pins here. I would take this for silver recovery. I have I have bins of these, and again, they're things that I'll put up for RESALE at some point. Should be decent gold on the memory sticks and the expansion ports, and of course gold here on the CPU. If I flip this over, I don't see a lot of gold. I see some MLCCs here, I see some other things. It's not a great board. These are selling right now at most online buyers for between yes, thank you, that's right, recycling. I didn't have that up and immediately available. What he just what that's right just said, and I appreciate, by the way, thank you. I appreciate all of your comments. I have learned so much from you guys, can't even tell you. Unless it's an i5 11XX or later, $30 through beep beep and beep beep. So yeah, so you know, you gotta look. I mean, I've got a bunch of i7s sitting out in the shed that I've got to try to go through. And what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll pull all that stuff up first, and then I'll go scrap the computer. So we've got, I think most of these boards weigh in at about 2 pounds. So we've got $4 here for the board. Media drives come in at, I think, 20 cents a pound. Probably got $1 worth of wire. So let's see. And again, I know I'm probably on the low side. That's okay. And let's see what I say. $4 for the board. Okay, so 4, 550, 6, 688. So $6.88. Torn down as opposed to $3 whole. Now on top of it, this gentleman expects me to take 25 to 40% off online pricing. Yeah, good luck with that. There's no money there, guys. There's no money. There's no money for me. And so anyway, that's how he and I got into this whole argument. And you know, I got screwed. I got screwed royally. The payment was stopped to me saying I didn't sell what was advertised. I will win because, number one, all of my... Thanks whoever just sent those in. Thank you. Yeah, 210 on iCore boards right now. Again, you know. Half of that's going to go to shipping. Zach offers discounting shipping through UPS, but he's in Arizona, whereas the operation in Cleveland is more streamlined and, number one, well, he pays better, which I hate to say, I mean, he does. But you have to wait, you know, you have to wait till Thursdays to get paid. If you don't get it in by Monday or Tuesday, you got to wait another week. You got to weigh your pros and cons, you know. You know, this is the kind of stuff I'll take, you know. Got jugs and bins of those too. I'm going to take the wire. This crappy computer wire is 98 cents at the yard right now, so add another $1 onto the value. They're even lowballing. You're at $7.88 to $8 for taking the computer apart. Oh, I forgot about the power supply. There you go. The power supply is going to be another, what, 2 pounds at 40 cents. So you've got $10 in value as opposed to $3.33 selling it whole. Less than 40% he wants, so he makes money. So I would, if I sold him this computer, I'm gonna get $1.50. If I take it apart, I'm gonna make $10. What do you think I'm gonna do? And this is what I've been trying to tell him. You're gonna take whole units and sell whole units to some scrapyard somewhere and expect to make money. It's never going to happen. His argument, well, you know, you said I would make money. I said, no. Oh, thank you, snobby scrapper. Yeah, I mean, okay, so let me do a 5-minute poll. Take any computer in the world you want, any PC, any telecom equipment. Let's just use a computer like this. And you hadn't just watched my video, right? What do you guys do? I'd like to know. Do you take it apart? Do you tear it down? Or do you sell it whole? I mean, you know, for me, it's a no-brainer. So I've got 100 PCs out there. If I sold them to him, $3 each, so there's $300 if I take them all apart. 10 times that much, right? So, I'm with you, that's right, recycling. So that is part of why I'm doing these videos. I am trying to not only illuminate him, so we might do business again, although I can't see it happening. I'm really mad at him. I haven't gotten anywhere near over the kind of crap he pulled. And again, so I forgot to add this on, guys. There's another $1. Take these apart. The boards have a lot of copper and a lot of aluminum and so on and so forth. These, SCLL is power supply, no wire. And, I think it's a much better investment to take them apart. Snobby Scrapper says, on average, a decent scrap PC, like I just did possibly, or a little bit older, decent scrap PC is worth about $7 or $8, which is exactly what we just said. That's exactly where we just came up on these. If you get the iCore board, you get RAM, hallelujah, you got yourself a nice bonus, right? So, and these take, if you're not blathering aimlessly, like I am. Yeah, I don't think there's a CD drive in this one, though. I think, well, I said that would be a media drive. I think they're paying 20 cents a pound right now. But, these weigh up. They add up quick. I'm watching my silly hand go on the, on the delay. It was really funny. I'm Italian. I talk with my hands. What can I tell you? Yeah, So, I know what I think is the right thing to do. I know what's right for me. We prefer not to pay more than $2.50 each for a complete PC. And again, this is my point. This is where the issue with the yard came up. His yard. And a recycling place, yeah, any recycling place in the world, including the two I've already aforementioned. Chris is at like 40 cents a pound for whole PCs. Why? Because he's going to do what I just did. He's going to take the components, he's going to take it apart, and he's going to do exactly what we just did. So is any other scrapyard. You're going to take them, you're going to sell them whole, you're going to make some profit off them. Somebody's going to come by who does what we just do. I'm not going to strip this out. It's not worth it to me. I know there's well, it's not that it isn't worth to me. I don't have time right now, For me, I sell media drives whole. So, I mean, is this making sense? That price is spot on. That's right. Yeah, I agree with you. But either way, isn't that better than getting like $2 or $3 for shred, or $2 or $3 to, to sell it to? No offense, that's art recycling. I love what you do. You're a recycler. You're not a, you're in this business, and I appreciate your candor. I really do, very much so. You want to get a little more out of here, you can save these copper motors. Again, now this is really going down to the nitty gritty. And I will tell you, some of this stuff I don't usually take. I'm just, again, for illustration purposes. Yeah, no, I appreciate it. See, that's right, recycling. He runs a recycling business. Oh, he's certainly upfront about what they're going to pay and why they're going to be. He just said the same. He just said the same thing. They're going to sell. They're going to buy this from somebody as scrap and sell it to somebody else for a profit, so they can take it apart and make money on it. And that's perfectly okay. That's what a business does. A business makes money, right? So basically, he was trying to be a middleman and make money doing it. Guess what, guys? There's no leeway like that in the scrap business. This business is tight. I mean, you're talking pennies, So we had a terrible argument following his first pickup. I was furious. I was like furious to the point I've almost called the police. But then I decided, you know what? It's probably not worth it, because it sounds like he's dealing with a very shady operation. There's a copper motor in there. You can get enough of these. Some yards will give you a copper motor for these. If you have nothing to do on a cold winter day, you can break them apart and get the copper out of them. Or you can send them over to Ireland to Patrick William and watch him scrap them all. Am I pretty close with what I'm saying? That's right, recycling. Would you, as a person who is in this business, would you say that's so? Some other goodies you can often get out of these that are worth extra value. Of course, the RAM, if you've got solid state disk hard drives, there are places that test and buy those. Zach does. I think That's Right Recycling does them. They, hey, dag burn it, howdy, howdy, howdy. Boy, you are really, you are the comeback king. I am so excited by how you've come along and how things are going for you. I hope that continues. I know where you were a few months ago, and look at you now. You're just a very active and very wonderful part of the scrap community, and yeah. So That's Right Recycling says he doesn't test anything either. Neither do I. I don't have time. I don't have 10 million operating systems. I don't have time. If it comes to me and I know it works, and I've given permission, and I've seen it boot up, yeah. I always ask, though. All right. I don't put a lot of the plastic back in because that is cheating. Make sure you get the battery off the board. Put that into a plastic container. My transfer station here in town takes those. I know there are people who go after these for silver recovery. Again, I just don't want them around the house. So you know, for a couple minutes worth of work, I've made quite a bit of money. Well, you missed the first part of the video. You'll see I had a pickup today. I tried to retire. I have retired from dealing with a-holes. I'm not dealing anymore with out-of-state scrap buyers who want to try to do a third party, who don't want to listen to me about where they're going to get the most money. Basically want to come here, get it free, and go sell it at a profit. Yeah, you know what? I'm not that person. However, there's more to that. Most of them are not for resale. Yeah, me too. Me too. I agree with you. You know, I can't. It took such a toll on my physical and mental health dealing with this whole operation. It took a week at the Jersey Shore for me to actually decompress, and he's already coming at me with I won't call them stupid, I'll call them uneducated lowball offers. Yeah. And it's not going to happen. I don't want to have to rush to make a deadline. I don't want to have crap all over my house because I've had to scrap everything in a big hurry. Nope, not for me. I'm a hobby scrapper. I enjoy being a hobby scrapper. And I'm really happy to be back doing what I do and hanging out with you guys in the lives. All right. So, Zach's got some really good, Zach has some good teardowns on his website. If you don't know who Zach is, you can DM me later and I'll tell you. You know, he basically took his passion for recycling and he's made himself a business out of it. We're very good friends, you know. He knows where I stand about pricing. You know, it's all about respect. I respect what he's doing, and you know, everybody's got a different model. So let's say $3 at 30 to 40 cents a pound, a 10-pound computer, $3 whole, no hard drive. So we said we had 88 cents in shred, 40 cents for the aluminum heatsink, $1.50 for the RAM. What did I say I was going to get? $4. $4 for the board. That's $6.88. Add the power supply in. That's another $1. I mean, it's $7.50 as opposed to $3. You do that times a pallet full of computers. How are you going to do? So, yeah. So, you know. All right. So that is that. Let's see what else. You know, it's raining out. It's an absolutely cold, dismal, raining day. The sun is trying to make an appearance, but it's been very cold out. So this is ready to go to shred. This is all ready to go to the storage bin. This is ready to get put in the box for Zach. Zach in the box. And those you can sell by the pound. All right. Put that off to the side. I can remember when I was in graduate school, I was a music major. Everybody dreaded the Foreman analysis class. It was the hardest. It was the hardest class on the master's card, and we had some difficulties at home. My father had gotten very, very sick, and it interrupted my graduate studies, and I wound up. I should have been failed by rights on one of the classes. It was too much. You know, it was just one of those things, and I finally went back to the instructor, who I knew from undergrad. Tough instructor. Oh my gosh, he was brutal. Smart though, boy. If you could get through one of Terry Grenowald's classes, I don't even think the man knew how to make the letter A. He was tough. I loved him. I absolutely loved him. Smart. You know, just a really really great instructor. And he gave me like a C minus, but that brought my point average down, so I almost got flunked out of graduate school. He knew that, and he just happened to be my master's class advisor. And I went to him, I said, I don't really do the poor me story. I never have, I never will. I'm working my way through college, and I told him my father is seriously ill, and my mentor passed away. My organ teacher, and I was devastated. I had been studying with this man for 15, 20 years. He was like family to me, and those two things happened like right back to back, and so most of my instructors who did know me, because I had done, they teach the undergraduate classes too, but you get a different set of specifics when you get to graduate school. And now, mind you, I was a straight A student. Loved what I did. Was already working as a music teacher. So he said, I want you to come to my office. I said, Doc, I'm going to get flunked out of graduate school. I said, I don't know what I'm going to do. He said, well, what happened? He said, because this is not you. This is not the kind of work you do. I said, my dad is sick. I said, he's really sick. And I said, I can't even think straight. He said, well, why didn't you tell anybody? I said, what does it matter? I said, this is grad school. You don't get a break in grad school. He said, well, I just gave you one. I said, yeah, I know. I said I should have failed. So he said, you realize you have to get an A in Foreman analysis. His class. Everybody, that's what, because I said paralysis of analysis. I got myself off on this tangent here. He's like, you probably can do it. He said, you're smart enough. And I said, well, I didn't do very well in the class. There was a new class, too. That was the other thing, too. None of us had any idea what this class was like. And, there's no playtime in graduate school. So, anyway, he said, why didn't you say anything? I said, because I don't. It's just not the way I am. So he said, I'm going to up your grade to a C so you don't get thrown out of graduate school. And I said, a C? I said, can't we just do like a, incomplete or something like that, and I'll make up the work? He says, I can't now because the grades have already been finalized for the semester. He said, you're going to have to get an A in Foreman analysis. I said, what are you, out of your mind? I said, nobody gets an A in Foreman analysis, Doc. You don't even know how to make a letter A. Of course, he laughed. I laughed. He said, well, that's the option. He says, you're going to have to do it. Well, I did. I got an A in Foreman analysis. And matter of fact, I got straight A's on my whole graduate card that year, that semester, an orchestration class, and he taught that too. It's like basically, I had it for all my classes, all the tough classes that semester were his classes. And, Dad got better, thank God. I got over the loss of my mentor and got established with my teaching career. And, paralysis of analysis, I got an A. Orchestration class, I got an A. Conducting class, I got an A. So, actually, in spite of the C, I wound up graduating with honors, which was good. Anyway, so now I scrap computers. Figure that out, right? Music major, 40 years as a music teacher, and I scrap computers. I think scrapping computers, it's fun. Ain't it? Wow, guys, there's a lot of people in the house. Thank you. I guess my timing was good, huh? Anybody know if Southern Scrapper is on? Because if I happen to tap over somebody's live, I don't like to do that. But what I'm finding is if I don't get my lives up, I just won't. You know, trying to dance around everybody else's times. I do try to stay away from Saturdays. The airwaves are really filled. What I try to do now is I will, if I don't go over the hour, I'll repost my video. And I like to do that because of the way I'm using these as teaching topics. All right, who's gunking up the works here? Let's get this out of the way. This is a CD-ROM. Now everything's digital. You don't need these things anymore, right? This is, I think, an Optiplex. Just OTD is on. OTD is always on, so I just, you know, I love OTD, man. You want a microscope? Watch OTD. That guy just is all over it. You know. But, you know, I'll always repost it. You know, if I go over the hour, it's on my YT. No, Chad Spark, not taken that way. He just, I mean, that man just, he you know, and he's got so much energy and so much knowledge. I get tired after an hour. I'm like, oh, God, is the hour up yet? I gotta stop. Chad just tears it apart, man. And it's nice that he's got his wife doing that with him too. I think that's awesome. You know. Alright, so get my $1 worth of wire. Yeah, 98 cents for this yard. I wonder what is holding up. I'm hoping it holds up because at 1 o'clock that guy's going to come help me empty my car and take the monitors and the printers that I just picked up. Yeah. Alright, now I got that out of the way. Now I can get this one little screw that's holding up the wicks here. This is a nice copper aluminum heatsink under here. $1.10. Oh no, Chad, you would never say anything in a bad way. You're a nice guy. Yeah, my microwave is beeping in the background. I put a piece of swordfish in before I sat down to do this, and it smells wonderful in here, but I'm not hungry enough to get up and go eat it yet. There we go, thank you. So again, you know, you can, I usually just toss these in a winter work bucket, you know. $1.10 a pound right now. The problem with these, I mean, you can sit here, you can tear, these fins just pop off with the screwdriver. I don't really want to do it because I want to sell it as a clean copper aluminum heatsink. But you can get the copper out of here. The aluminum guys don't want the copper guys don't want the aluminum. My local yard pays 20 cents if I'm lucky. If I ship them out to Chris, I'll get $1.10 a pound. That was another problem with that big order. You know, big order was just nothing but problems. It was a nightmare. The second order went okay. No, second order was, yeah, the second order was okay. Third order had issues with PCs because he's screaming at me as I took the hard drives out, and I don't scream, but I'm sitting back like, no, that's a category. Hard drives, no drive. You knew that. PC, no hard drive. You knew that when you picked it up. Don't give me agates that I didn't tell you what you said what you ordered. I said it was right there. I said it's right here on your receipt. You know, well, I'm stopping the payment. We didn't make any money. I said, it's not my problem. You mismanaged it and didn't know what you were doing. I said, how is that my problem? It's not. Well, back and forth we went. And the last load, he used all the money that I was supposed to be paid to pay everybody else but me. So, you know, there's 2 words. Last one's you, and it ain't thank you. So, this is an i7. 868. This should be worth a couple of bucks. Just like scrapping old spider. Yeah, copper spiders are awesome. You'll find these in a lot of the Dell Optiplexes and a lot of the smaller form computers. These are you know, they do. I have a lot of those. I also sell those by the pallet. When I get enough, I'll sell those. I do well. I have a couple. You know, I got a couple of people a couple of local yards who I do work with. If I get enough of something to send, you know, I don't really need this other person. I don't need him at all. All he does is upset me. So, you know, I deal with somebody who upsets you. All right, so that is an i7 868. I'm going to turn it this way and put it over here. I should have plastic cases in front of me. I am getting a box ready to go to Zach. I've got some hard drives, some, you know, solid state hard drives for him, and I have quite a few of the CPUs. Okay. Yeah. Oof. Getting bust us apart anymore. Yes, Chad, it does. I have been known to say it, but I prefer not to. Yes, it does. It's flat you. Thanks, Outside Recycling. 25 bucks for that chip. So there you go, guys. Gee, if I had scrapped this computer, would I have gotten that chip? No. Would I have missed out on 25 bucks? Yeah. So, you know. Even the old gold pin CPUs, the older ones, they're worth what, $12, $13 a pound? Someday when I get my actual workstation set up, I'm getting upstairs ready. Upstairs would be good for the fall and winter season. I'm almost done with that. I can't work up there in the summer because our central air pushes all the hot air upstairs. I should go upstairs with all the other hot air, but it makes it so hot I can't work up there. So, but I like to work outside during the summer. I pretty much live on my patio all summer long. So yeah, 25 bucks. I don't know, Joanne. Welcome back. I don't know. Saw you in yesterday. See you in again today. That's nice. Again, you know, if you get about 1 million of these, maybe you make a couple of bucks. I do send some of these over to the science teachers. So when they do their little projects about how to make a circuit, we all did that with the cigar boxes and motors. You know, it's on my request page. I have that up for, you know, there are local teachers who want them. I just give them to them, you know. I do the school band instrument programs in this district, so I run that. I run a rental service, so all the teachers know me anyway, so, you know. I put things like telephone keypads, number things, a lot of stuff that Scrapaholic does for the teachers. I do that too locally. You know. Again, this is, you know, I could just go live in a garbage can until I decide what. We're going to call him Oscar. He can go live in a garbage can. Thank you. I'll be here all week. Ouch. There's probably a silver button under there. If I want to get really micro scrappy. Yes, Chad, it starts with F. You know, like I said, he's been emailing me for the past couple of days. I blocked him. I don't want to talk to him on the phone right now. I'm very angry. And you know, like I said, I got over the angry when I went on vacation. And you know, if you hold on to being angry, it just, you know what it does? It makes you sick. And I was ready to walk away from something I enjoyed doing because I was angry. So, yeah. I hope he's watching, and not watching because I'm being vindictive and he wants to know how I feel about him. I hope he's watching so that he can learn from me doing this how to properly break down e-scrap and why I'm saying what I'm saying. He actually finally wrote to me and said, I think I understand your point. I said, my point is you stole from me. That's my point. I said, until you get through that, you know, we're done. I need to be reimbursed the $500 for the collapsible Gaylord bins that you allowed the yard to steal. Now, how is that on me? That you let them take that they were supposed to be used, dumped there. We had a liftgate truck come and get them, 4,000 pounds of scrap. You know, take it to the yard, dump it into their sort bins, collapse my bins back down, put them on the truck, and he will bring them back to me. He's here in Stratford. Did that happen? No. So, you know, another $500 I was out. And I told him, until I get reimbursed, don't even bother me. You know, I don't need you. That's the thing. It's nice not to need people. Isn't it nice not to need somebody? Would I like to help him build his business? Maybe. But not at my expense, you know? So, poor Sharky. Sharky got scammed the other day. I won't say two because I don't know if this guy meant to scam me or he just doesn't know what he's doing. I have my own feelings on it and I'm going to keep them to myself because I don't want negativity on the airways. Okay, this sells as an aluminum clip because I can't get the metal off. Keep that away from your extruder. Okay, those sell as clips. A clip chip. Alright. Anyway, so that goes back to Dag Burnett's question, how's retirement? Well, you know what I did? I went back to my original business model, which is doing this and reselling the parts and hanging out with you guys and doing a live a day. And I'm enjoying that. So, yeah. Does anybody know if Southern Scrapper is on? Because if he is, I want to make sure I get off and clear his airwaves. Because this is usually his time to go. And, if you're into gold recovery, he's a really good one to watch. An eventful retirement. You know the other thing though, I think I'd be bored if I completely... I was talking to Shark Scrapper about that the other day. I said, why don't you retire? He said, because I suck at it. I said, yeah, so do I. And you suck at retiring. I tried to retire twice. I just, you know, busy hands, idle hands, the whole blah, blah, blah. Yeah. If I have time over the winter, yes, I will take these apart. The board inside sells for more than the entire power supply sells for, so. Again, these are going to live in either on a pallet or in a Gaylord bin. I get enough of them, I can put them out for, thanks, that's right. Yeah, because if I saw him on, I would jump off. Or I'm getting close to winding down anyway. It's when it hits the hour and I get my little puzzle piece. I try to cut out right there so I can repost the live. So power supply, no wire. Well, that was the other thing. Why didn't you take the wire off the power supply? Well, why didn't you freaking read? It said power supply, no wires. And by the way, server power supplies don't have wires. They plug into something. So, you know, I'm not here to educate you. It's not my job. And until I cool off, I'm not even dealing with it. I'm going to put that in with my silver contact bins. You know, that's easy stuff to put aside. Not for me, but when I get enough, I can. I do have a store. It's thischannelsname.com. Eventually, we will be doing e-scrap by the pound. I'm halfway there now, but, you know, I sold out of a lot of stuff, so that's good. I want to try to get some of those telecom boards done today. I would like to put another pot of gold together. That one sold. From yesterday. I'm going to get restricted. I said sold, but I don't care. He's been going live late afternoon. Is he working? He must be working. He must be on the road. He usually goes on at around 11. You know, he's an independent contractor. So he sometimes gets called out of state, and he'll do his lives after work from wherever it is he's working. Nice guy. Real nice guy. He buys a lot of RAM for me. At least he used to. Now he's got another supplier now, and that's fine. You know, as I said, a lot of these things. Don't forget, I've been doing this a long time, so I have a lot of, you know, people who reach out to me on a regular basis looking for material, and I just stockpile it till I get enough to ship or enough to SCLL, and that's what works for me. So yeah, that whole pot of gold from yesterday, that beautiful box of gold module cards, that's gone. It is on my itinerary for today to see if I can get into the pod and find some more. The Juniper servers have those nice module cards on them. Let me grab one. I'm going to show it to you really quick. I have the box put aside. It's already sold. What I did is I took apart a bunch of Juniper servers, and they had these cards on top of them, these module cards, like this. And this, I think, came out of a Cisco. But I put a box of these together because they should fit into a toaster oven for those of you who do home game refining. So we put a box of these together, and as I said, it's going. Somebody DM'd me and begged me to buy a Sasser. Don't forget, guys, that's how I make a lot of my income, you know. I usually sell boxes on the Bay of and I've gotten away from it because of all the stress of dealing with this other situation. And, you know. Yeah, those came off. I have, I think, 50 of them. They're still new in the box. They're Juniper blade servers. I showed you one board from those yesterday. That's going to be another, maybe that'll be tomorrow's video. I'm really trying to keep item specific, like today really was about, you know, is it worth scrapping the PC or should you just sell the whole thing whole? That's recycling. I hope I didn't say anything offensive. I wasn't picking on yards. I was explaining the business model. They're going to buy them cheap. They're going to have somebody take all this apart, and they're going to make a lot more money off the computer than you ever will if you sell it whole. That's it in a nutshell, and that's not offensive. That's a business model, you know. So, iCore board, you can tell by the arm. What's on it for gold recovery? Well, even this is a much lower grade board than some of the others. There is gold here. You'll find gold in the expansion ports. You'll find gold in the memory slots. But if you flip this, well, there's some gold here. That's nice. There's nice little flashing. We've got a crystal oscillator. You know, these, again, if I was microscrapping this board, I would take this. I'm not, because of the relationship I have with my board buyers. I don't want to do that. They take good care of me. They're both subscribers of mine. If they see me nipping stuff, they're going to get really mad at me. But I could. I would get gold bonded wire here. I would get, not much, a little bit of copper here. This is copper flash. This is not a gold flash board. This board is copper flashed. You know what they do with these is they strip them. They throw the whole thing into a shredder. It goes down the toxic river and separates all the gold. See, this is copper here. That's copper flash. That's not gold flash board. I don't think. It's more reddish looking. I think it's copper. Anyway, so this is a board from Foxconn board made in China. 101401. I don't know if that's the date or a model number. 01 seems, well, iCore 5, I'm not really good on all the dates of all that. All right, so, you know, again, $4 for the board, maybe $1 for the power supply. There's $5, 20 cents there, and $1.10 there, and plus the shred. So, you know, $2.50 to $3 at the yard, and they're going to take it apart and they're going to make all this money. So why not take it apart yourself and sell the parts? Unless you don't have time. I mean, like, yeah, I like the load of gold. Yeah, those, that's right, recycled. Those are amazing. I've got some really good stuff, you know, and now that I'm back trying to do a live a day, I really am, you know, I'm alone a lot. I live alone. My family is, you know, they work during the week, and, you know, they'll have their significant others and their kids and everything else. So during the week, it's just very lonely around here. So I thank God for you guys. Thank you, Dennis. Dennis has his orange board up on the wall. I actually thought about putting 20 or 30 together in a box to see if somebody wanted to do them for Art Deco. But I have to find out about the gold masking on those and so on and so forth. Hi, what do you take the gold from the board? Hi, Joey. I did show some of that earlier in this live, and I am going to post it up as a what you call it, a video. So you'll be able to go back and look for that. Plenty of people who do microscrapping of computer boards, plenty of places you can find that information. But I have already covered quite a bit of that, and I'm coming up to the end here. So what you could do is you could type into the search engine gold recovery from electronics, and any one of our content creators here can help with that. And there's plenty of really good videos and you know, things about. You can check Shark Scrapper over on the Tube of You, you know, and a lot of us here, and even like a lot of my videos too. All right, guys, I'm coming up to my hour. Thank you so much for spending time with me. The gift of your time is the best thing in the whole wide world. Thanks for all the likes. Thanks for all the kind words, and thanks for some really great interaction. This was another really great live. You're welcome, Joey. Also, make sure you like and subscribe if you're new to the channel, so that you know when I go live. As I said, I try to kind of sneak in either between Scrapaholic and Southern Scrapper, or Southern Scrapper and Patrick William. I try to sneak in through there. I haven't really picked an established time yet. Cause it's going to start getting really busy with the school band instrument programs coming in. You know, I've got to see how everything pans out. I have got a pod full of almost 30,000 pounds of E-scrap, so I'll have plenty of content for you, kids. Be well. Whodunit, I haven't forgotten about you. I actually have your box ready to go. Finally, I've got a box for. I want to show you guys the box I put together for Whodunit, and the box that I put together for Joshua de Beaumont. And this is again with everything I've been going through. I haven't been getting things done that I was supposed to do, and I'm starting to get caught up with stuff. And that's a good feeling. All right, everybody. God in heaven bless you. Thanks again for. Yeah, I gotta go turn it over and do the other side now. I've got a convection microwave I love. I threw a baked potato in. I threw an ear of corn over on the microwave, and yeah, I'm ready for a nice healthy lunch. All right, everybody. Bye, everybody. Be well. God bless. Bye. Of course, if I try to shut off the right phone and not the monitor phone, I'd probably do better, huh?